Hi, welcome to my first video. It's Yvonne. I started the Sandwich in California website or company in order to help other people who find themselves in the same situation that I was 2 or 3 years ago. And I identify myself as a sandwich generation. What is the sandwich generation? Well, it hit me one day, and how I realized that I was a sandwich generationer was I was putting my son to sleep, and it was about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And after I put my kids to sleep, I went to my parents' house, which is down the street. And my mom at the time, she had cancer, and she was home with home health, and she needed somebody to help with the IV antibiotics, which, by the way, was a pretty big deal. And so I went to my parents' house to help take care of my mom from 12 to 2. And I came home at about 2 o'clock, and I slept till about 6 o'clock, which is when my son Wesley woke me up. So there I was, trying to wake up, just taking care of him, feeding him, and then finally I had to get ready and be at work at 9 o'clock. It was exhausting. And those of you who know me, I'm the type of person that needs about 9.5 hours of sleep, not 4 hours of sleep. But I managed to get myself through the day, probably half dead, walking around. Really was not safe for me to drive, for sure. A sandwich generation refers to someone who is taking care of their parents and their children. 1 in 8 Americans are ages 40 to 70 fit the description, where they're taking care of their children and their aging parents. If you're working and taking care of your parents and your grown children, how do you juggle it all? Do you ever feel like no matter what you were doing, it just wasn't good enough? I feel like each of my basket, I felt like I was cheating. Like I wasn't putting all my effort into it. My mom was sick, she had cancer, and I just thought to myself, maybe had I paid more attention to her, or she started complaining about her symptoms, maybe we would have noticed and we would have got her diagnosed sooner, and she would have started chemo sooner, and maybe she'd still be around right now. And at work, I felt like an imposter. I was a hospice rep, which is a healthcare rep, kind of like a pharmaceutical rep. And I felt like I was actually getting overpaid. I felt like I just wasn't good enough, that I wasn't bringing enough business to really justify my salary. And I felt bad. I felt like I wasn't worth it. And then looking back at a lot of the family photos right now, I felt like maybe had I paid attention to my son more, both of them. My son Wesley was always really upset whenever we sang happy birthday. And most kids were happy and got into it or things like that. But Wesley was always crying when we were singing birthday songs. And if we were at a fair or something, he would just get really overwhelmed. And he would just start crying. While most kids are looking around at the lights and at the people, at everything that's happening around them. And I just felt like, why wasn't I paying more attention? If I had I paid more attention, I would have noticed these signs of autism, and maybe we would have gotten my kids diagnosed sooner. Maybe they would have just got intervention earlier, and maybe that would have made a difference. So one day at work, and this is a couple years later, this actually happened right in the middle of a pandemic, June 2020. I was called in to work by my boss, and this is at a different company at this point, and I got laid off. They just said, it's not working out. It's your last day. I mean, who laid off a mother of 2 special needs children, who has a sister who has Down syndrome, who has a father that's aging, who is the breadwinner of the family? Some big corporates don't care, and if it's not this company, it could be any company, and it could happen to anybody. It happened to a lot of people, in fact, during the pandemic. So I was at a crossroad in my life, and I just thought to myself, what do I do now? Work is all I know. I've been working since I was maybe 12, and I just thought to myself, I have to find a new job soon, and I need to work full time, and I need to earn at least the same amount that I was earning. I mean, what would you do? I think that because it's a pandemic, there wasn't a lot of choices, even though I know I could get a full-time job again if I really wanted to. But something happened and it changed my life. One day, my husband and I, we were praying. We're just, kind of trying to be positive and thanking God for all the things that's happened throughout the day. And then all of a sudden, my son Atticus, who is on the spectrum, who is on the autism spectrum, and is severely speech delay, he started talking all of a sudden, and he started to thank God for the things that happened that day. He started naming, thank you, God, for going to the park. Thank you, God, for getting Popeye's chicken. Thank you, God, for seeing Aunt Tiffy. I mean, can you imagine what it's like for a mother of a special needs child to all of a sudden not only hear my son speaking, but to hear him listing things throughout the day that he was just so happy about, that he was comprehending what my husband and I have been doing, that he's following along and he's engaging with us. And I think at that moment, I just decided, this is all I want. This makes me so much happier than earning a paycheck, than bringing in that patient or making that quota. And I then and there decided I wanted to stay home more. I wanted to work less. I want to be there for my children. I want to have more moments like this, beautiful, precious moments like this. And I somehow in the last few months was able to do that. And so if you're a sandwich generationer and you find yourself just exhausted, just overwhelmed from taking care of your parents and your children, and it's the pandemic and somebody got to help them do all these distant learning, but you just don't know how in the world you can stay home or afford to stay home, or even if you should. That's why I created this program. That's why I created this website, because I want to help other people like you. I want you to not only survive in life, but to thrive in life. I want you to be able to say, I'm so happy. When people see you, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. No. I'm so happy. I'm working less. I'm spending more time with my family. And you just can't stop talking about it, So that's kind of where I am right now. I'm just really happy about it. And I just want to be there for people like you who want to maybe consider staying home, working part-time, or at least help relieve some stress, because we have the resources to help you to get to that stage in life that you can enjoy life more and stress less and spend more quality time with your family. Thank you, guys.